Hi Moglets! I kinda realized that ever since Inazuma came out, I've been pretty consistent with my raising god modes of characters, in that every Inazuma character, at least up until Ayato, has been raised, and I think all but one of them has been quote-unquote god moded or level 90 high talents. And I wanted to kind of talk about them, my experiences since raising them, how I feel about them now, so on and so forth. I am quite sure we're not totally done with Inazuma yet. I wouldn't rule out Mondstadt or Liyue either, even once we get new islands or new places besides Inazuma, because a couple of the upcoming characters, pretty sure one's going to be from Liyue, Yelan perhaps, and then this other one, Kuki Shinobu, is probably going to be from Inazuma. Haven't looked too far into it. But yeah, right off the bat, I want to say I don't really regret raising any of the characters. I think they're all quite unique. I had a lot of fun with each of them individually and trying out some team comps. It's just something I like to do. But the one character that isn't God mode yet is not god mode for a reason, so we'll get to that a little bit later. Unfortunately, I don't believe there is a way to sort by characters from Inazuma. So here are the 12 current Inazuma characters. I utilized this star system. I'm not sure how long we've had that. Maybe since the beginning, I've never noticed that, but we can sort of organize them like that. So let's go ahead and start with Shogun, as she is here at the top. I've probably used Shogun the most out of any Inazuma character. I really love her like burst DPS type play style. The fact she provides a lot of off-field electro damage. I mean, you know, a couple other electro characters do that as well, but then she has the super strong burst. It only lasts for a few seconds, but you know, you can get some stuff done. So I really love Shogun. Easy 10 out of 10 for me. Guess we're just gonna move down the list. Sara next. I basically use her with Shogun. That's almost it. If I just want to get like a really big number, I'll use her with Binny, because her attack boost, while not as strong as Binny's, is still pretty good for characters that just want more attack. I think she's a pretty niche hero, but she really takes Shogun, and I've also used her with Kaching to the next level. Again, for general use, you're probably gonna have a better time with Binny or whatever for just buffing reasons. But yeah, considering she's always with Shogun, she is technically one of my highest used Inazuma characters as well. I can't give her a 10 out of 10 on like the whole scale because, you know, again, she's pretty niche, but I would like to give her at least an 8. Arataki Itto. Outside of the Shogun Sara team, he's probably my second most used Inazuma DPS. He's very strong, very fun to play. I mostly use him in the 3 Geo team with Gorou, and the 4th one swaps out either between Binny for more damage, Kokomi for healing, or just someone that I might need. Like if I need Cryo for a Hydro Lecter or whatever, then, you know, I'll take Ayaka. But yeah, Itto, not much else to say about him. Really like playing with him. Gonna give him a 9 out of 10. Next, we're looking at Kazuha. If my memory serves, he was actually our first Inazuma character. Like, didn't he actually even come out before Inazuma? But yeah, what's to say about Kazuha? He is basically the most meta unit in the game. I honestly don't use him as much as I should, probably. He's a very powerful elemental buffer. I know this is basically sacrilegious what I'm about to say, but I enjoyed using Kazuha a lot more as like a sub DPS. Someone to go in, hold the E, kind of gather up the little enemies together and slam them down. But then I built him as you kind of should, with as much elemental mastery as possible to increase his boosts. And yeah, you know, I still use him as a buffer. I just have to think a lot more about it. I gotta swirl the right element here, so my damage dealer, whether they're cryo or electro or whatever, is getting the boosts they need. And he's still fun, but yeah, I personally like using him more as just like a damage dealer in a way. Definitely have to give Kazuha a 10, even though on like my personal scale, he'd probably be more like a 9. Next, we have Kamisato Ayaka. She's definitely one of the DPSs I use on and off. I could just never really get used to her dash, similar to Mona. I know I could eventually, but like, I have literally every character to choose from, so if something bothers me about one, why would I try and force myself to use them? Ayaka is capable of some incredible damage, pretty much with all of her skills, but especially her burst. It hits so often for some pretty big numbers. I think the main reason I don't use her more is because I can never really get a feel for melt comps, and freezing comps, while they are nice, they don't work everywhere. So yeah, not much else to say about Ayaka. I really do think she is a great character. I just personally generally use others, and since I'm giving everyone a rating, I have to say like my personal rating would be more of an 8, but overall, I think if you can look past her movement, get used to it, or actually prefer it over normal movement, then that definitely bumps it up to a 9. Miko is one of the newer characters. I don't have a ton of experience with her. I haven't used her much since the God mode, honestly. I think her only issue was that she was like my 50th character, or how many of our characters we have. And somewhere along the line, my character started sharing artifact sets and weapons. And yeah, when I look at like half my characters, I'm like, are they built? Are they not built? And I know I really should get around to getting sets for everyone so I don't have to think about that and can actually use all my characters like equally, or at least close to equally. But yeah, I actually really like Miko. I think she's fun. Placing those 3 things down, a lot of off-field damage, swapping to her when she has her burst, and boom, boom, boom. That unfortunately has not yet gotten the love she deserves. and I hope to change that eventually. I'm gonna also have to give Miko an 8 just because I don't have a ton of experience with her yet, but I really enjoyed my time playing with her. Kamisato Ayato, the newest character that came out a few days ago. I basically just did my God mode showcase of him, but in a nutshell, I also think he's a really fun character. Lots of AoE. I think he's great in the right situation. I think he's still good in not the right situation. Also, I recently realized you can have almost a 100% uptime on his burst with enough energy recharge because its duration is only 2 seconds shorter than its cooldown, which I find pretty crazy. I'm also not too comfortable giving Ayato a rating because he's so new and like I don't have a ton of experience with him or anything, but just from first impressions, I would like to bump him up to a 9, honestly. Next up, we have Kokomi. I still think she's like one of the prettiest characters ever. I've actually been using her quite a bit whenever I need some healing and want that healing to also do some damage, because with the clam set, she can actually do a decent amount of damage while healing your party. So there was one point, I think my randomized Abyss, I actually had to use her as my main DPS, and she definitely carried the whole team. Granted, this was floor 12 and I absolutely didn't get anywhere close to 3 stars on any of the floors, but she did a really good job. Overall, when I want a healer, Kokomi is who I turn to. She got a lot of hate when she first came out. Maybe she still gets hate. I don't really care. I really like Kokomi. I'm gonna give her a 10. F you. Yoimiya, pretty much the same story as Kokomi in regards to the hate. I know there are some really dedicated Yoimiya mains out there as well. I wouldn't say I'm one of them. I think she is a pretty fun character to use as well though, because she still can do some pretty big numbers with basic attacks, which is always fun to see. Yeah, she has her issues. She's not the most meta unit in the world, but I still like Yoimiya. I use her from time to time for single target stuff, like the Electro Oceanid. She's really good for that. Not saying that's the only thing she's good for. I think in pretty much any single target situation where there's not like some pyro resistance or whatever, she's gonna be great. I'm gonna give Yoimiya an 8.5. Don't pay attention to the numbers too much. They're just to get sort of an arbitrary overall thought on them, I suppose. Next up, we have Gorou. I literally only use Gorou with Itto for nothing else, for no one else. That being said, I think that is where he best belongs. What can I really say about him? He buffs Itto, real nice. He's good for Geo teams. He basically revolves around that. I don't see why anyone would use Gorou outside of a Geo team. That just makes no sense. But yeah, he's a really good support for Itto. What can I say? He's basically like Sara is to Shogun. At least for me. Maybe some people do use him in other ways. I don't know. I'm gonna give him a 7 just to mix it up a little bit, even though like he really does help Itto a lot. But it's like I really don't feel like I can use him in any other way, so he's extremely niche. Thoma kind of got erased from my brain, honestly. Like half the time I forgot he's an actual character. My complete apologies to Thoma mains, if there are any of them, because he's not really like a mainable character, I think. I really don't use him often, ever, basically, which is of course not to say he's useless. I just haven't really figured out what I would use him for. I have heard he's quite good for Hu Tao. Pretty sure I have tried that at one point with some decent success. I think him and Kazuha, because, you know, you can swirl the pyro, whereas you can't really with Hu Tao, but it's just, I don't know, my normal Hu Tao, Xingqiu, Zhongli, Albedo team or whatever is just comfortable and gets everything done anyway, so perhaps I just didn't give him enough of a chance, but yeah, that's what it is. I'll have to come back to him again at one point to really do a deeper dive. Again, kind of fake number here. I have no right to assign a number to Thoma, but I'm gonna give him a 7. That's just what I feel like. And finally, we have Sayu, the only character that is still level 80 out of all the current Inazuma characters. When I first raised her and posted my videos, I got a lot of comments like, yeah, you're not using her right. And like, I have no idea what the hell I'm doing with Sayu, and that's still true to this day. I heard some tips about using like some off-field AoE, like Kea or Shanling, and just spinning her around the enemies. I did try that with like, I don't know, a little bit of success, but it wasn't like great. But I would like to finish the Inazumans and get Sayu to God mode. How do I use this character? I'm just more overwhelmed with Sayu than basically every other character because she's so weird. From what I've seen, she really can't do much damage. She rolls around in a ball. She's just very unlike a lot of other characters. So yeah, any Sayu mains out there, give me some tips and we can get this God mode going because she is C6 and I would like to do it. But yeah, that was it for the 12 current Inazuma characters. I don't think I'm forgetting anyone. Make sure to drop a comment below. Who is your favorite Inazuma character and why? Why are they your favorite? My favorite, if I didn't mention it yet, is probably still Shogun. She's one of the only ones I gave a 10 to. Also down there is the like button and the subscribe button if you so wish to subscribe to my channel. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.